It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
We're here.
We are here again.
Welcome to the Echo Chamber.
2 weeks in a row.
Steve Penantielman with Mystery Mark. Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. A lot to get to, but...
See, I don't remember this background before. I like it. I don't remember us using it before.
It's very fallsy.
Yeah.
Very fallsy. A lot of leaves falling around the neighborhood. We have to apologize for last week.
We don't have to.
Well, I think in all fairness, we should say we're awfully sorry that Skype let us down. It's not the first time. We'll have to go to Uvu or something. We managed to kind of switch it on the fly, and we put the audio out there.
Right.
But I couldn't sync up the audio that worked with the YouTube video because I had edited out all the commercial breaks, so it was going to be like a Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah.
Right. So if you want to hear Jen Mounts from last week's show, it's on Stitcher, it's on TuneIn.com, it is on iTunes, and it's in the audio archive on our website, Dart Talk US. So you guys can find it there if you want to catch up. A lot to get to. We have the Grand Slam of Darts is going on.
Would you like to disclaim before we do anything?
Please do. Yeah.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
Okay, so let's move on.
There you have it.
You enjoyed Jen.
Yeah.
Last week. I mean, the funny thing is we heard her, relatively fine. We had no idea we were having an audio problem until people started, saying it in the chat, and then the first chance
one of the problems is we can't just stop and try and fix it because you're not. I mean, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, it's hard to debug some internet problems on the fly. People that were watching the Soft Tip event over the weekend, what's it called? Premier Cup of Darts.
Correct.
I guess they had technical issues too. I mean, it's hard to do this stuff with no staff while something's running live and fix it. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to do. So our apologies again for last week. We appreciate you tuning in, though.
Yeah, she'll be back on.
Yeah, we'll get her back on. Maybe she's in the running for Newcomer of the Year. Get around for that.
Yeah.
Maybe that. We're going to have to do the awards at some point.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah.
Man,
I can't believe another year is gone.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm just sort of seriously?
We're going to have snow soon, and
hot stove.
Taxes are going to be due, and
trades. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I'm more worried about the baseball trades. I'm following that stuff very closely.
You're worried about that?
I'm trying to because we need a center fielder, we need a backup first base. We need things. We got needs.
Yes.
You got plenty of needs.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you. What do you want to start? The Grand Slam? Well, here's the thing. Okay, I've been on Twitter now for a couple of weeks, and I got to tell you, some of the things you read there can really make your blood boil, right? There were people making fun of Larry Butler like 6 different ways. They said he was dressed like a jockey.
For his T-shirt?
Yeah, he was dressed like a jockey.
Dart shirt?
You saw his shirt. I mean, was it that bad?
No, I didn't think it was bad.
I don't know. People trying to be funny. I mean, I don't know. Now, you saw the match.
Yeah.
You saw the highlights of his match with
right.
Barneveld. And what they didn't show you was apparently the thing that, like, Wayne Mardle couldn't stop talking about.
Which I did hear it because you had told me about it.
Yeah, so basically what happened was Larry was on 201 and threw a $180.
Mm-hmm. To leave himself 21.
Okay. Now
I wasn't sure what Barneveld was at, though, but...
Right. No, I am not. Larry does things that I would never, ever do, right? Like, I've talked to him about it, like, years ago. On 121, he'll go bull.
Okay, with 3 darts in his hand.
With 3 darts in his
right.
hand. And basically, I told him, I'm like, seriously, dude? And he's like, well, over, my decades of experience for him, he's taken out 121 more that way than any other way. So that's why he does
96 and
yeah. Okay, so fine.
Or 71, whatever.
71's like not a great leave.
Right.
This is why I don't do it. On 134, he faked out the camera. The camera was looking up, and he went down at the 17s. And okay, you can, if you throw a 6 count on the 17s, you leave 32, right? Just like on 126, he threw a 6 count on the 19s and left 12.
Right, 12, double 6.
Right. So, I mean, there's nothing, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, on 126, if you single it, you leave
50. Well,
no.
On the first start?
Yeah. Well,
the general play on 126 is...
Well, then a 4 count leaves you a bull.
Right.
I mean, it's a normal thing to do. I mean,
sure.
Here's the thing about throwing a ton 80 on 21. If you're on 81 and you have 1 dart in your hand and you're convinced that you're going to throw a triple and then you throw the triple, you haven't done yourself that much good, in my opinion, right?
If you throw the triple 20.
I just don't see why Mardle's like harping on it like for 20 minutes. You know,
sure.
and calling it silly, I think, is why I don't like Mardle. Right? I mean, fine, okay, most people wouldn't do it. The thing that irritated me was another guy saying, well, that's American darts. That's what Americans do. And I'm like, no, that isn't what Americans do. I consider that unorthodox.
Right.
I would never. You've never seen me do that. You've seen me like joke around and rip people. Well, look. But I mean,
I'm not. No, I don't necessarily understand it from the aspect of if you're gonna have you have 2 darts. You have 1 dart in your hand to leave yourself
you got 1 dart in your hand. You're on a 2 dart out.
You're on a 2 dart out.
Okay. If you throw a single 19, right?
Yes.
Then you're on 62.
Right.
When you're coming up again. If you throw a single 15, because you were saying go for the 15 there.
Yeah.
You're on 66.
Right.
On your next turn. So you got a 2 dart out. Either way.
Correct.
Right?
But you can leave yourself with a 1 dart out, 3 clear and a double if you hit a trip 19, trip 15.
Well, that's why a triple 19 or a triple 15 helps you more than a triple 20 there. Right? I mean, we all know that.
I know he was confident that he could take the 21 out. That's not the point.
Well,
but you're not giving yourself the most amount of darts to win the match.
You're not
maximizing your darts.
Because you're going to throw the fat 5 to leave 16.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You could leak it into the 20 and bust it. You could throw it into the 12, and a lot of things can go wrong. I don't see the percentage in throwing it to 20. You could bounce it out. You've already got 2 in there. You could knock 1 out and totally hose yourself. I mean, there's a lot of reasons not to do it. But if you're standing at the line and you're feeling confident and it goes in, well, I mean, Chris Mason was freaking out on Twitter, and he's like, well, geez, it almost worked.
Right.
I mean, there's something to be said for I've seen this happen to Phil Taylor, and we'll get to Taylor in a minute. Where if you do something unorthodox that's kind of like, not the way to do it, the other player freaks out. I've seen that happen, right? So I don't know.
Well, I'm sure he's upset he didn't take the 21 out. I mean, that's
Well, you got 2 darts at a double when all is said and done.
Yeah,
right.
No matter what.
But you could have had 3.
But
if instead of tripping the 20, you tripped the
I
19.
do agree with you because the announcers are saying, well, it's American darts and they play too much cricket. Well,
okay,
a cricket player would have gone for the triple 15 or the triple 19 because they're playing.
That was the thing. Yeah,
triples
that was
all the time.
Yeah, that was the. And this was just like this collective, like what Chris Mason thinks about American darts, and that's because he's been to America. He's been. I met him at the Windy City Open. Is that what we called it?
Yes.
Yeah. I met him at the Windy City Open. It was really gentlemanly, nice guy. Played him in the doubles and stuff. He was very accessible. And he's like, Americans are aggressive and they play a lot of cricket, and I'm like thinking, well, doesn't mean I would throw at the trip 20 when I'm on 81.
But throwing at the trip 20 doesn't make you look like a cricket player.
Well, I don't
by
know
any means.
What I think what he was getting at there was he was just trying to. You only have 140 characters. He was just trying to like encapsulate very shortly what American darts is about. And of course, you throw cricket in there,
right?
But the implication is somehow that because we play so much cricket, we don't know how to play 501, and that was totally erroneous. Maybe Larry thought he was on a different number. He could have thought he was on 120, 84 instead of 81. I don't know. You can have those little mental things to go wrong.
Well, sure. Maybe he thought he's on the 20s and he could take out 21 just as easily as he could take out.
And he hit the 20.
66.
I just don't think.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a great deal of sense to me to do that. So second guessing, hindsight, whatever.
Sure.
Outcome
if
bias.
If he hits a 21,
whatever you want to call it.
Like, well, okay, he took it out. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean,
he did it his way. That's fine.
The shock value. When Barneveld goes up and misses, and then you come back up at your 21.
To me, the thing was it wasn't necessarily okay that. So he lost that. You keep watching the match. He's tied it up. It was the going for the triple 17s that you alluded to earlier.
Well,
because when he went down,
was that the last leg? Was that the?
It was the one he lost. When he faked out the camera and went down to the trip 17s. He didn't hit it, and then he ended up throwing a 1 and ended up throwing like a really busted round.
He threw a horrible round.
Yeah.
He left himself on like 107 or something.
Right. And then
or 109.
Barneveld left himself on 70. He couldn't take out 107, and Barneveld wins the whole thing by taking out 70. He, in effect, even from a novice darter like me, it sometimes is when you change your game plan to move. I'm not saying he changed his game plan if that's what he wanted to do, but sometimes you move to where he's hitting triple 20s all day, and all of a sudden you move from a triple 20 to leave yourself 74, and you go to the trip 17s and you miss it, and then.
Well, he was on 134.
Yeah,
and he 3 darts in his hand, and he went right at the 17 and threw a single.
Right, and then he went somewhere else, and then he went for the 20s and hit a 1. He left himself 107.
Well, he threw a 3, so he had 20 shot. So now he's on 114, right? And went for the triple 20 and threw a 1. Was that what happened?
Well, he left himself 107, so he hit a single 17.
Maybe
so
he hit a triple 3.
117, yeah. He must have hit a triple 3. Right.
Okay, so
regardless, sometimes you could throw your own self off, I think, by doing that. He could, if he's going to go for the triple 20 with 121 left because he's on him. Then why wouldn't at 134 you stay there? And I think that cost him because the minute you miss that triple 17, now you second guess yourself. You hit a triple 3, then you have to hit it, and all of a sudden, boom! Van Barneveld throws like a ton 40 or something close to that, leaves himself 70, and now you're looking at 107 or I lose. And I think that's worse than leaving yourself 21 with 3 darts in your hand that you're going to have.
He had a whack at he had a whack at the double.
Yes, he did.
He hit the triple 17 in the next round, and then inside on the 18 by like a barrel and a half, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean it wasn't on the wire, but it wasn't terrible. Like the when he missed the 70, I couldn't even see where the dart went.
No,
I mean
it
looked like it went below the triple, and he's like, well, he pulled it, and I'm like, well, that's a understatement.
Pulling it would have been like a 1. He dropped down.
Well, he pulled it down.
He pulled it down.
He pulled it down. Yeah. So I mean, that was kind of I when they said 50 scored, I'm like, huh?
Where?
Where'd it go? So, I'm sure he was awfully disappointed in that shot.
Sure.
I don't know why he stopped. I mean,
We talked about that too.
yeah, I'm not a big
the
fan.
Announcer said, the announcer said that the double wasn't blocked. You said you have to take that with a grain of salt because if he's
he
over
stands
to the right,
over. He stands over on the right.
So maybe
yeah.
to him it was blocked, so he had to stop it because he looked like he stopped, moved over just a little bit. But we both agree. We've talked about this for years. The stopping and reloading is usually a bad recipe.
Yeah. It's and I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean, you've got a guy with, and even Mardle said, if he had the chance that Larry would have the composure to hit something at the end there. I mean, you miss 70 and Raymond takes out 84, and then the next leg you miss one dart at a double and Raymond takes out 70, right? And it's kind of like, wow, seriously. But if I don't know. I'm not a big fan of going for the 10 on 70, but I can see why people do it. But, I think it's easier, especially under pressure, to throw at the 16 and the 8. I think you've got a larger margin for
to
error.
me, it would be interesting. I would guess that Larry would say, he was somewhat happy. He performed well. He threw a decent amount of high numbers, and he was in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
but
eventually his
hand,
average was like 97 or something like that.
But on the other hand, is there ever a point where you realize that one dart could have changed the whole match, or do you sit there and say, no, that's the way I wanted to throw, and I just didn't hit the one double in those two matches that really would have won him the legs?
I don't know. Sometimes it's weird. I mean, it's hard to shake loose of a mistake that you make late in a match, and I don't think he was thinking about the dart he missed at tops to go down 4-3.
Oh, I don't think he was either.
But it was pretty unconvincing finishing in those last two legs. Larry's pretty stoic. I mean, it wasn't like he didn't look confident,
right?
But
I would agree with that.
It didn't look like, here, let me put it this way. He didn't look like he lacked confidence, but if you look at his face, it doesn't look confident either. I mean, it's hard for me to read him, but you saw him throw. That's like the first time you've really studied his throw.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Barneveld's. I mean, if I was going to pick a player, man, I
like his too.
I wish I could throw like him. What'd you think of like Larry's style?
Well, to me, it was a little unorthodox. I mean, obviously very consistent, and it's a throw that he can do very well. It looked like to me he had a lot more body. I mean, if you compare him to Van Barneveld doesn't move.
He's butter.
He's
butter.
Nothing. It's arm, and that's it. And Butler's got a little shoulder action in there. And,
it looks like he shoves it a little bit, doesn't it?
But he shoves him right into the triple 20.
Yeah, I mean, he was he scored really well.
Obviously, all that matters is when we talk about other people, you don't like the way this guy throws or this guy throws really well. I wouldn't emulate Larry Butler's throw. I would if they went in. But I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I would say I want to throw like Van Barneveld before Butler. But
Well, where are we on time? Because I got.
We're due for break.
Okay, because I'm going to come back, and there was a couple of things that Mardle said that really ticked me off I want to get to. And then I want to talk about, is Phil Taylor the most insecure guy in darts?
Okay.
All right, so we'll be back in a minute. You're listening to Dart Talk. Mr. Mark Salmon, this will be a quick break.
The views and opinions expressed on Dart Talk are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
Okay, back for the second quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Dart Talk. I post all sorts of weird things I find interesting, pictures and articles and stuff. If you guys want to,
Nobody else does.
nobody else posts stuff.
No, finds them interesting.
Oh well, I don't know. Some people do.
Anyway.
I got just 700 followers, something like
Nice.
that. Yeah.
All right.
I've only been on there a little bit.
What was okay? I can't. This isn't going to work out well because, we were looking at your Twitter account, and if it's at Dart Talk, but what's the name?
Oh, the name right now, because you can change it. It's Third Coastie.
Okay, what was that? I was just
You live in Chicago.
yeah.
That's the Third Coast.
Okay.
There's the left
Third
coast
Coastie.
and the right coast,
All right, we were just
and then Chicago's the Third Coast.
Tracy and I were confused.
Oh, you
at what
guys didn't know
third-
that?
No,
Oh,
we had
man.
no idea what
Oh.
Third Coastie was.
Well, when you live in Chicago, you know that you
Since
should know.
Okay, well, you have to help me out here since I don't Twitter. So what? That's just you have your Twitter handle at Dart Talk, but
That
what's
Dart-
the
that's
Third
your-
Coastie is just for
that-
the page.
That's just like your name.
Okay.
At Dart Talk is like your.
Is-
That's what you type in to find
Yes.
somebody.
Right.
So. Yeah.
Okay.
It was
So
always
Third
last
Coastie
to
really
know.
has
It was-
nothing to do with any of it.
No, I just thought it was funny.
Okay. I was just curious.
Nobody gets me.
We were wondering what the heck
Oh,
that meant.
so you actually went on Twitter.
Tracy did.
Did she like the articles, or does she think they're all stupid?
No, I don't think she read them. We just wanted to see what the Dart page, the Twitter page was.
Oh, okay.
And then we went Third Coastie. What the heck is that?
Okay. It means Chicagoan.
Okay.
All right. So, in tweeting with Chris Mason, he asked me if I had seen this warm-up thing that they did. The PDC took Dave Chisnell, Scott Mitchell, and Phil Taylor in a fan forum at some local bar. And they took questions from Twitter, questions from Facebook, questions from the audience, and then gave these guys microphones, and it was all kind of somewhat informal. So it was only about 49 minutes long. So I'm like, oh, it's okay. Give me a link, and, I'll watch it. And Dave Chisnell just looked absolutely petrified. It's
Okay.
like,
He didn't want to talk?
he's just camera shy, and he'll get used to it. And I'm not too worried about it. Scott Mitchell was kind of funny. He's the guy that won Lakeside last year, and he seems like a normal Joe. And then I'm watching Phil Taylor, and boy, I tell you, he's like, I don't know what his deal was. At some point, they were asking, how do you warm up for a tournament? And Taylor's basically saying, don't tell them. Don't give away your secrets. Like Scott Mitchell's like, yeah, I'm warming up for an event, and if they're not going in, I walk away from the board, and I'm like, I'll check it out
How is
later.
that a secret? Oh, doesn't matter how
Well,
you
that's
warm
why
up.
I'm wondering how insecure Taylor is.
Yeah.
If somebody asked Taylor what he had in his pocket, because if you watch Taylor, he reaches down in his right-hand pocket, and somebody had told me a long time ago that it was sawdust. He keeps sawdust in his pocket to keep his fingers, from getting slippery, because it gets very hot under the television lights. They have extra lights, on stage and stuff. And he's like, oh, I've got like this little red wax thing. And I'm thinking, is that so? Because he opens up his dart case and he throws like chalk on it. I'm like thinking, oh, so you chalk on your back, but then you reach in your pocket for wax? Seriously? So I don't know if that's I want to search him, see if he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of taking, don't give away your trade secrets kind of thing. And I'm like, you're Phil Taylor. Are you really worried that, you're going to like give somebody a tip and the guy's going to turn around and come and beat you?
Well, just because you give somebody your practice routine doesn't
got
mean
a
they're all of
bunch
a
of-
sudden going to come out and be like 10 times better than you if they try it.
It struck me as borderline paranoid. But
Yeah.
here's the thing that like I was really irritated about. So I don't know. Some American must have been on Twitter or on Facebook asking about Larry Butler because the MC kind of stammered around to formulate a question that had Larry Butler's name in it, right? Like, isn't it great that Larry Butler's here or something? And Dave Chisnell just is like, I don't know who he is. I'm like, my God. And then Scott Mitchell's just like, I'm not going to say anything. So Phil Taylor knows Larry Butler, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, okay, here's Phil Taylor who's going to say, hey, he won the inaugural World Match Play or whatever 20 years ago. Say something, Phil. You were around then. Phil Taylor's like, oh no, he's like a midfielder for some soccer team, like some local soccer team. And then Chisnell started laughing, and then they moved on. And I was like, seriously?
Yeah.
This is what you guys are about. So Mardle's ripping them for throwing a ton 80 on 21. The little fan form, they're totally blowing him off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of like, okay, an American actually qualified for this thing, and this is the thanks we get. This is
And
how
performed
you
well.
Well,
which
yeah,
they didn't
I
know
mean,
that at the time of these
well, no,
interviews, but he's performed well up until that point.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
Something's going to blow up.
What was that? Oh, I know what it was. That was a weather warning that we're getting a thunderstorm. I was just sort of
Grip
like
wax.
grip wax. By the time I was done watching the darts, and I was just sort of shaking my head like, we don't get any. We're Rodney Dangerfield.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's come to. And I think that's too bad because we haven't had anybody qualify for that thing since Gary Mawson was runner-up at the UK Open, 7 years ago, 6 years, whatever it was. I mean, we finally get somebody in there, and Gary Mawson, it was different. I mean, it was like he had the crowd behind him, and it was like, oh, Gary Mawson this, Gary Mawson that. And I don't know. I just thought it was kind of like lame. And
Yeah,
I think
sure.
Mardle. I think Mardle's kind of lame. I think for these guys that all came over here to play, Mardle's like talking about Barneveld, like, well, never give a chucker a chance,
Mm-hmm.
and then realized what he said, and then he's like, oh well, he's a very good chucker.
Very good chucker. So
Just sort of like
that didn't make any sense.
They don't talk like that about some of these other guys.
If you never give a chucker a chance, does it matter whether he's a very good chucker or not? But then all of a sudden you're like, well, wait a minute, he's a very good chucker.
Yeah, I just.
But at one point in that match, he said if Larry throws well here, Van Barneveld could be done, and Larry hit a ton 40. I mean, it was looking close, so they were kind of stepping on themselves by saying, because early on it was just like, well,
because Mardle, I don't think Mardle's very good at it. I mean, he speaks English. I'll give him that. I don't find him very insightful. I think Part's insightful. I think Mardle's terrible. I mean, we got emails complaining about the announcing at the Premier Cup of Darts. Like Gordon Dixon and DJ Sayer were doing a commentary on the live feed. You listened to some of it. What'd you think?
I thought it was fine. I mean, the feed didn't look great, but I didn't think the commentary was bad.
I think I talked to a guy on the phone right before the show, and because I figured I'd get a straight opinion from him, somebody with no access to grind or anything, and he's basically like, well, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Well, yeah. Well, it was better than nothing.
Darts, well, sure, but if you think about darts, you don't have that much time. Okay, I mean they're throwing fast, and do you speak during the motions of when they're throwing the darts? As the numbers go down, do you let the video talk about it say itself? You have to say some things, and you have very little time to say it. It's not easy to do. I didn't think. To me, it was fine. I mean,
you thought Mardle's commentary was fine?
No, I'm talking about the Cup of Darts.
Yeah,
I thought the commentary was fine. I mean, they're moving along, and they're throwing darts as fast as you could possibly imagine, and you got to commentate on it.
Well, I mean, people who hate aside, I mean, commentators are. We were talking about it on the car. I hated Chip Carey. I just hated him. Right. I'm okay with the guys we have now. I actually like Jim DeShays. I'm not a big Hawk Harrelson fan.
I am.
Right. I think Steve Stone's awesome.
Sure.
Right.
So do
I don't know how much of Vin Scully you've heard.
I love Vince Scully.
You like Vin Scully? Vin Scully just basically, he's the only guy who's alone
Right.
in the booth.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got, like, I actually, went up there and saw the notes that he speaks from. They're pretty detailed. He's got about 8 pages
But
there
you also have so much
stats
time in
and stuff.
between pitches to talk.
And he just gets it, and he just talks through the entire game.
Right.
And then,
But, in all the downtime,
everybody loves him.
He's got things to say. 'Cause there is a lot
add
of
add
downtime.
your little factoids and
Which is
everything,
where,
and then
like,
a
Chip
little bit of
Carey
inside information.
would have
and-
nothing to say in the
no,
downtime.
Chip Carey was like
Right.
totally stupid.
But it's harder to commentate when there's really no downtime.
Well, it is, and that's why you get paid for it. There's a skill that
Mm-hmm.
and then
Right.
you also need to be able to do it more than once, right?
Yeah.
So like everybody, Howard Cosell was very polarizing. Like I liked him. My brothers and sisters hated him. My
I liked
dad
him.
hated him. I thought he was great. But he was speaking at to a level that I liked.
Mhm.
But I liked John Madden. I liked Pat Summerall. I hated Dan Deerdorf. I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
I'm
mean,
on the same.
everybody's
I'm on
got.
the same page as you. As that.
It's a taste thing,
Yeah. For some reason, I didn't like. I liked pretty much everything you said there. But I didn't like Dan Deerdorf either. I don't know why.
Oh, I hated him,
Yeah.
and I
But-
hate Joe Morgan.
I never. I
Could
I
not
liked,
stand
I
the
liked
guy.
Joe Morgan. I
all
liked
all he
Joe,
do every broadcast.
Miller and Morgan. I like those guys.
I liked Miller. Morgan, every single broadcast he did, I guarantee you, at some point he says he was a better second baseman than Ryan Sandberg. I hate
Well,
the guys
yeah,
that,
there's no
that do
reason
that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I was better than him. Like Jim Brown was on TV for decades saying, oh, nobody was better than me.
Yeah.
I could go out there right now and play. Like, seriously, dude?
Right.
Come
well,
on.
I would. Yeah. That's
You know what I mean?
no real.
Like
reason
Frank
for
Gifford
that.
was good.
Yeah.
And you need a player to describe the action.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Vince
Sure.
Scully played like minor league ball or college ball or something. I mean, he did play the game a little bit. Not everybody can be, Anthony Rizzo,
Right.
right? I mean, like Jim DeShays and Steve Stone were both pitchers. They had some success,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you don't have to be the best player to commentate intelligently about whatever sport it is you're describing.
Bob Uecker.
Minor league catcher.
Yeah.
Or
Career-
he's major
he was
league
a
catcher
career
and like
210
career
hitter.
210 hitter. I mean, that's better than
And
David Ross did this
yeah.
year.
And
I mean,
he's been announcing for 40 years.
well, he's funny.
Oh, he's awesome.
He used to crack me up on Carson.
He's one of the funniest guys
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Dry humor and fantastic.
But
But he's a good announcer too.
Well, I don't. What did you think of Mardle? I mean, you listened to the one match.
From a little bit. I mean, yeah, that didn't. I wouldn't say that Mardle was. Well, the problem was they kept reiterating the fact of the trip, the ton 80, as the match kept going.
He called it silly.
Yeah, but repeatedly, and to me, it was like they stopped commentating on the matches that at hand, and that was.
It must have
problem.
just been the shock.
I guess,
that it just like.
So yeah, I didn't like that. I figured.
And then he basically saes he can win the game if he doesn't do something silly again
right.
like that.
Instead of going on with the fact that he was playing well, and then he tied it up at 4 or
Well,
at
he
3.
tied it up at 3.
Tied it up
Yeah.
at 3. He didn't. So yeah, I would say.
And
no,
it was a
I
good
didn't like
leg.
it.
He took out. He missed the 126 out with Barney on 117.
Yeah.
Barney went up and missed one dart at tops,
Mhm.
and not really even that close. And he took out the double 6 right off the bat. So
Yeah.
you're
I don't think
3-3.
I don't think he gave as much credit as Larry deserved, because Larry did not throw poorly. Maybe he made a couple mistakes, whatever.
Well,
But maybe he didn't. In Larry's mind, he didn't make a mistake. So
he missed. He
know.
missed a dart at tops to go up 4-3. That ended up, I'm assuming, below the triple.
right.
So that was maybe a physical mistake, but it was weird. He kind of stopped,
Mm-hmm.
kind of looked down. And then the 134 was just like his only bad round of the match,
Pretty
except
much.
for the.
Right.
I think he threw like 155, and everything else was like
But, yeah, to answer your question, I would say I didn't like it because Mardle was more involved on what he did wrong and what Van Barneveld was doing in order to win, as opposed to just commentating on the match.
Yeah, and really, he spent all that time ripping him on throwing the ton 80 or throwing the triple 20 on from 81, while Larry's throwing like what 120. He goes 121 ton 40 ton 40. Right. And throws a 12 darter,
and all he's talking about. Well,
and he's still talking about the mistake he made. If he doesn't
make a mistake, then he could win the match. Instead of talking about the fact that the guy's just thrown, nine triple 20s out of 12 darts.
Really irritated the heck out of me.
Yeah,
and I'm like so like, if he stopped commentating, I wouldn't miss him. Let's put it that way. All right, are we due for a break? Where are we? All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about the Premier Cup of Darts?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be back in a minute. You're listening to Dart Talk. We'll be right back.
Dart Talk agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Okay, back for the second half of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Anything in the chat before we move on? I see like kind of a long comment in there. I can't really read it, but
we was talking about American Darts needs bookies and booze for sponsors. We've talked about that before, and may have a chance.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I agree with him.
I mean, there's I don't know. You got no fan base. You know how you gonna
bookies and booze will do that.
Well, the magic bullet of gambling. I mean, I don't. It's gambling in America is such a mess. I mean, look at like the fantasy, like the FanDuel and DraftKings. You know, I mean, they're going to end up getting put out of business.
Right.
You know, the minute you
Not
say
in Vegas,
the minute
they won't be.
They're already banned in Vegas. Vegas said,
Vegas banned them too. New York just banned them.
Yeah.
Well, unless they go for their gambling license, and then
look, I mean, one of them is getting sued by the Players Association because they're like basically using the players to market their game without paying the players, and then the other one is paying the NFLPA, right? So it's a mess. Anything with gambling in America is like you need 18 lawyers get something through. Like casino licensing in Illinois, would that take like 7 years?
Right.
Before they could decide who would get the license. Then they gave it to them and then found out there were all these mobsters, so they got rid of it and gave it to somebody else. I mean, it's a mess. So I don't see how gambling is going to save us. You know, we don't have bookies anyway. You got William Hill. I mean, that's an English company, I think, doing that stuff. So anyway, the Premier Cup of Darts was supposed to be a $2,000 winner, $2,000 buy-in, winner take all. What I understood that it became not winner take all, but the winner did get $15,000, which is a pretty good payday.
Yeah.
They played long format. I think it was it best of 11?
Right.
Yeah, they played split bull 701 and cricket.
Mm-hmm.
And diddle alternate start, and then I think they grouped the games where you'd be able to start both cricket and 01. Right? If you start if you just go 701 cricket, 701 cricket, 701 cricket, then one person's always going first in the 01 and one. So Darts Live changed that a couple years ago. So it was 701
cricket, 701, 701
cricket, yeah, like that. Yeah. So they had 16 sense. Yeah, they had 16 players playing double elimination. We didn't even do the Grand Slam of Darts results.
No.
Well, let's get those out of the way, and then we'll you got them there, right? Yeah. Oh, this is going to take forever. Okay. Well, there were 8 groups, and the top 2 in each group got through. So run down the groups real quick.
Group A, Van Gerwen and Kim Hybricks got through. West and Oosterhouse did not.
Total chalk. Okay. Next.
Martin Adams and Steve Beaton in Group B got through with Ian White and Yelly Clausen not. And
that was
apparently did Beaton win on a
Beaton won on leg differential.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needed to take 2 legs off Martin Adams, and that was the one match where it was kind of like, well, this could be some collusion, right? Because Adams was way ahead, and Beaton was really struggling. And it didn't look like anybody was tanking, but Beaton did, Martin Adams was 1 leg away from winning, and all of a sudden, Beaton actually took it to the deciding leg, but he only needed 2 to advance. Mm-hmm. So then they were playing, the winner of the match would not have to play Van Gerwen in the next round. So
Martin Adams wins all 3, and everybody else beats up on each other.
Yeah. Well, that's why it was leg differential.
Michael Smith and Adrian Lewis in Group C get by. Andy Fordham and Wayne Jones do not.
Yeah, and that was the other thing that bothered me with the way they were treating Larry Butler, because they treated Andy Fordham like it was Jesus just came down from heaven to play darts. I mean, he's an interesting story, and he was a top player and had all sorts of issues that he's overcome. He stopped drinking now, and his first darts were, first right out of the box to a ton 80, had a lot of crowd support. So that's a good story. But there's other good stories. I mean, they didn't feel like covering.
Group D, Peter Wright and Dave Chisnell advance. Mervyn King and Scott Mitchell do not.
Yeah, that was kind of the group of death thing. Mervyn King, I thought, was playing well enough to get through, but failed. And then Wayne Jones was like the local guy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's from Wolverhampton or something, so he had a lot of crowd support. And he's just, he's a fine player, but he's not like a top-tier guy. The top-tier guys are pretty much getting through here.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Gary Anderson and Raymond Van Barneveld. Group E, Larry Butler and Andy Bolton do not get by.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Larry could have won.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have finished cleaner, he would have won. He scored well enough.
James Wade and Mark Webster in Group F get by with Keegan Brown and Michael Vanderhorst.
Yeah, I was wondering if Keegan Brown would get through there, but maybe next year.
Group G, Robert Dorton, Terry Jenkins get by with Gert DeVos and Johnny Clayton.
Yeah, Gert DeVos played really good too. That was kind of that was a tough one. Terry just made it.
And the final Group H, Phil Taylor and Robbie Green beat out Robbie John Rodriguez and Martin Phillips.
Yeah,
Robbie.
Yeah. So not a lot of surprises out of the group stage, and then they had the first knockout matches today. Wow, you got that there?
I do somewhere.
Yeah, I think you just passed. No, up. Where it says Wednesday.
It says Monday, Tuesday. Oh, Wednesday.
There you go.
Wednesday, second round. Robert Thornton got by Robbie Green 10-8. Phil Taylor got by Terry Jenkins 10-6. Mark Webster beats Gary Anderson 10-6. And Raymond Van Barneveld beats James Wade 10-7.
Yeah, a couple
So
of
those are
I guess
your first quarterfinalists.
Wade didn't shake hands with Barney.
No?
He was irritated because Barney started. Wade was ahead, and Barney started throwing slower.
Okay.
And Wade
I thought
didn't.
James
Wade
threw
didn't appreciate
slow.
that. No, Wade's pretty quick.
Oh, he's fast.
He's not ultra fast, but I mean he gets on with it. Yeah. So I don't know.
Little gamesmanship and James
Phil
Wade didn't
Taylor's
like
got
it.
a lot of haters. I'll tell you that right now. The Taylor match, Taylor barely broke 90. He was missing doubles left and right. And Terry Jenkins basically blew a bunch of chances to win that. And started out, I think he was up 4-0. So, I mean,
Ooh.
that was kind of, that was
Terry
kind of
was up 4-0 and lost 10-6. Ooh.
Yeah, he was up 4-1 at the break, and then it was tied at 6, and he just missed every double after that. I mean, it was kind of a big fail on Terry's part. I like Terry. It was kind of sad to see. Is that it? Are we done?
Well, yeah, well, then tomorrow.
Yeah, who's playing tomorrow?
You got Michael Smith against Chizzy, Van Gerwen against Beaton, Peter Wright against Lewis, and Martin Adams against Kim Hybricks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting
for them
to see.
To make the quarterfinals.
It'll be interesting to see how far Martin Adams gets. He had a pretty entertaining interview. The thing with Adams is, he's never wanted to play in this thing. He's been invited. And he's like a BDO loyalist, right? So he never wanted to come over to the PDC and all this stuff. So it was kind of interesting because they did ask him about it. There's a lot of BDO PDC chatter going on with this tournament, more than I really expected. And, Adams is like, I'm fine with all my decisions. Other people have problems with them, but not me. And I'm like,
good for
okay,
him.
well, they're your decisions,
Yeah.
buddy. You better like them.
Right.
So I just can't stand watching him throw now. I mean, it looks like, we were talking before, and I'm like, he looks like Johnny Cueto throwing darts. I mean, he'll throw one way, and then by the third one, he's almost sidearming it. I don't know if he's got, arm problems or what the deal is, but the guy just looks tremendously awkward. I'd be shocked if Kim Hybricks didn't wipe the floor with him. Absolutely shocked. So we'll kind of see what happens there. Who do you like to win?
The whole thing?
Yeah. And you got kind of, you know who's in some of the quarters. Half the quarters are set. Right?
Yeah,
Smith is going to, it's down, I can't see it from here, but who's Taylor playing?
Taylor's got Robert Thornton, and Van Barneveld plays Webster, so I would like Van Barneveld in that.
Yeah.
I would actually.
Webster played really good today.
Did he?
Yeah, Gary Anderson averaged a 105. And Webster beat him, averaging, 70% on his doubles.
10-6.
Yeah.
If you average 105, you lose 10-6. Ooh,
the average, it's like, I was trying to tell you. First leg Larry played, Van Barneveld went first through a 14-darter. Larry's on 102.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, he averaged 100 for the leg, but he was never in it.
Right.
And
then he had to throw a 12-darter in the second leg.
Yeah,
just to win.
Timing is everything, That's always been the standard. The PDC standard is you have to throw 12 darters to break a guy's throw. If the guy's, up to the mark. Okay, so
I'd take a flyer on Hybricks.
On Hybricks. I'm thinking Chizzy. Chizzy threw a 9-darter. If he gets by Michael Smith, I think this might be Chizzy's week.
All right.
That's kind of my guess. All right, let's get off the Grand Slam of darts.
All right.
And
we're
go
actually
to
due for another break.
Seriously?
Well, if we go to another break, we can come back, do the Premier Cup of Darts, Ghost on the Coast, and
then wrap it up. Okay, this will be a quick break. You're listening to Dart Talk. We'll be right back.
now and forevermore warn that you consume this show at your own risk, and that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the grand spaghetti monster of the Triple 20.
Okay, back for the fourth quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official console distributor. We had somebody in the chat room last week that complained that we didn't cover enough of the Grand Slam of darts. I hope they're happy now.
Yeah.
Because we did like half a show on it, even more so. But as we had one American playing in that, there were 16 guys duking it out in this Premier Cup of Darts. You saw the feed. You listened to some of the matches, and what was your overall impression?
Well, we talked about this a little bit earlier. The feed was weird.
Yeah, like it wasn't in sync or it was stuttering.
Right.
Yeah.
The commentary to me was fine. I didn't have a problem with commentary. Like I said, I don't think it's easy to do, and they were following the match, and but I mean, you're also talking about the fact that I watched about 5 minutes of 4 different matches.
Yeah,
I didn't really have a.
Yeah, we didn't get in here
great
early enough
aspect
for you
of
to
the whole
watch
thing.
5 hours of it,
Right.
Which is a shame.
But to
We'll have
me,
get in
just
earlier next week.
from snippets, I thought it was fine. The video feed was just weird.
The camera was good. It was just like they didn't have enough horsepower in whatever computer they were using. It looks like
and there was a point in there where all of a sudden the audio was gone.
Yeah, like the announcers kind of
you couldn't hear them anymore.
Yeah,
but I don't know how long that went. And
like I said, doing this stuff on the fly is hard to fix. I mean, they blew the World Series, right?
Yes, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
what are you going to do? They stopped the game.
There was no video replays.
Yeah,
in the World
they stopped
Series.
the game.
Things
for
happen.
It. I mean,
think of how much bandwidth they need.
And how many billions they put into their trucks and all this stuff. They have people. They have staff.
They have
we
lot
don't
of
have
people.
staff. I got no staff. I need staff. So let's do the results. Now, how are we going to do this? Because how do you do that? Okay, so
how would you like to do it?
Because it's double elimination, it's weird. It's like you have first and second, and then you actually have third would be...
Well, sure.
Yeah,
would you want me to run down everybody?
I'm trying to think how you would do it.
Well, I'm going to run down the winner's bracket.
Yeah, but that it doesn't tell you. You have to
and
run
then
down.
I'm gonna go down to the
actually, you go through the loser's bracket.
No, I'm going to tell you everybody that won the winner's bracket. Then I'm going to go through the loser's bracket.
Okay.
And then I'm going to get to the final 4.
Okay.
So Ray Carver beats Mike Maloney.
This is first round.
First round.
Winner's bracket.
Winner's bracket. Brady McCaw beats Nathan Borland. Darren Young beats Johnny Kay. I bet that was an interesting match to watch.
Yeah.
Eric Blackledge beats Eric Gregory. Chris White beats Timmy Nickel. Joe Chaney beats Brad Porter. Jeremiah Millar beats Don Stewart. And David Fadden beats Brad Oxendine.
Okay.
Then you go back. Then Brady McCaw beats Ray Carver. Eric Blackledge beats Darren Young. Chris White beats Joe Chaney. Jeremiah Millar beats David Fadden.
And that puts you in the top 4 of the loser's
That
bracket.
puts you in the
winner's bracket.
Top 4 of the winner's bracket, where Eric Blackledge beats Brady McCaw, and Jeremiah Millar beats Chris White. So your finals
So the king of the hill
is
the
Jeremiah
final of
Millar.
the winner's bracket is Eric Blackledge and Jeremiah Millar.
And Jeremiah Millar beats Eric Blackledge.
Okay, so Jeremiah Millar is king of the hill,
He's
waiting
gotta
for
for everybody to come out and.
Well, he's going to play the winner of the loser's bracket.
Right. So then these guys are first out in the first round. Mike Maloney beats Nathan Borland. Johnny Kay beats Eric Gregory. Brad Porter beats Timmy Nickel, and Don Stewart beats Brad Oxendine.
So these are the guys that are 2 and done then. Okay, because we're in the loser's bracket. Okay.
Right. Those 4 guys were.
Okay, so that's 16 through 12.
Right.
Would be the losers of that match.
Yes.
Okay.
David Fadum then beats Mike Maloney. Joe Cheney beats Johnny Kay. Darren Young beats Brad Porter, and Don Stewart beats Ray Carver.
Okay, and so the losers there are now 11 through 8. Okay.
All right. David Fadum beats Joe Cheney, and Don Stewart beats Darren Young.
So Darren Young and Joe Cheney are 8th and 7th.
Okay.
Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
Or are they 7th and 6th? 7th and 6th, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Then Fadum beats McCaw.
So McCaw's 5th.
And Don Stewart beats Chris White.
And White is 4th.
Right. And then
Don Stewart.
No, you're
okay,
you're
I am one
back.
off.
You're
I'm
one
off. Okay.
6th and 7th.
Okay.
And then Don Stewart beats David Fadum.
So Fadum is 4th.
And he is now, so far, yeah. So now he's got to play. So Don Stewart is
still winning. David Fadum finishes 4th.
David Fadum finishes 4th.
Right.
So Don Stewart now plays the loser of the winner's bracket, which happened to be Eric Blackledge.
Okay.
So Don Stewart beats Eric Blackledge.
So Eric Blackledge finishes 3rd.
3rd.
Okay.
So now you got Don Stewart against Jeremiah Millar, and Jeremiah Millar wins.
And so Don Stewart finishes 2nd.
Don
The
Stewart
funny
finished second.
thing
the funny thing about the whole thing is Don Stewart played Jeremiah Millar in the opening round.
And then goes to the losers bracket, beats everybody.
Everybody. Good
and
people,
then,
too.
Yeah.
He beats Oxendine, Carver, Young, White, Fadum,
and Blackledge.
And
And then goes to play Jeremiah Millar and loses again.
Now,
Brutal.
Did Millar have to beat him twice? Because it doesn't say this.
No. Well, no. What would have happened is if Don Stewart beat him, Don Stewart would have to beat him twice.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Would he have had to beat him twice?
Yeah.
Because
it's called double dipping.
In like the College World Series, they all of a sudden don't make you do that.
Yeah, I know. I always found that odd.
In the Little League World
like
Series,
they
you
kind
go
of
through double elimination.
You're punishing somebody there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if
it's a time thing.
How they did that here.
Yeah, the soft tip draws that I've been to, and I've been to like maybe 10 in my life, and I would say 70% of them consist of somebody sitting around for 3 hours while somebody in the losers bracket plays like 6 or 7 matches. Then they go to play the guy that's been sitting around for 3 hours and just beat him bloody twice in a row.
Right.
So they call it double dipping. Yeah, I double dipped so and so. And I'm like, okay, great. Good for you, So,
Yeah.
You guys can find the matches on YouTube. They did. They said they were going to post them. We found some, so they're up there. And you can watch them and enjoy them. It was an interesting, it was an interesting format. If it would have been all 0-1, I'd have been tempted. But yeah, I'm not really in playing shape right now anyway. Although I did start practicing again.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was kind of funny, but I don't think we have time. Are we done?
Well, you want to do Ghost on the Coast real quick, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, because they also had the Nationals there, so congrats to, off the top of my head, Sandy Hudson, Sandy Haas, Joe Cheney, and Robbie Phillips made the USA team.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember who the 2 alternates were.
Well, Chris Linkus and I don't know. Well, congrats to everybody that did that. Also, fair comment. If you go on the ADO website, there's a post by, I assume it's Steve Brown, talking about how wonderful the WDF World Cup was and how they didn't go to a war zone and all that stuff. Go read it if you want.
Okay. So Ghost on the Coast, we'll do
just do top 2.
Friday's results. Blind draw. Gene Ranson and Chris Linkos got second. Matt Malone and Robbie Phillips got first.
Matt Malone.
Matt Malone. There's only one.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Only one T in Matt Malone.
Yeah.
Mixed doubles cricket on Friday. Deb Ivy and Soldier Gates second place. Tim Adams and Chris Grimmel.
Sniper.
Who? Chris?
Tim Adams.
Tim Adams.
Or what did we? Oh, we called him the sweeper, and then it turned out he didn't sweep it.
Was it? Yes, that was
Tim Adams. Nice guy. I like him.
Then you go into the Saturday's matches. So we'll go men's doubles cricket. Arlen Kelly and Greg Fields for second place. Danny Delfino and Timmy Nickel.
Danny Delfino in the house.
Men's doubles cricket. Ladies singles
He's
cricket.
another guy who retired on Facebook and is suddenly at a dart tournament. I cannot take anyone retiring on Facebook seriously.
Okay.
Scott Willison's retired 11 times.
We'll go top 4 here. Ladies singles cricket. Kelly Mears, Tyler Mears for top 4. Sandy Hudson second, and Stacy Pace first place.
Well, she's had great results whenever she's shown up and played. Stacy Pace.
Stacy
Yeah.
Pace.
Yeah.
Men's singles cricket, top 4, Harris, but I'm sure that's Chris. Chris Linkos, Kyle Owen, and top 4, second place, Doug DeReamer, and Leonard Gates, your men's singles cricket champ.
Huh.
Ladies doubles cricket, we'll go top second place here is Marliese Keel and Kay Hoover. And Tyler Mears and Kelly Mears wins ladies doubles cricket. Mixed triples 501. Second place goes to Fair, Langana, and Pryor with Pace, Great Arden, and Pace.
Okay.
There's 2 Paces? I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's Danny and Stacy.
Okay.
Yeah, Danny's a great player.
They win the mixed triples.
Okay.
That was it for Saturday. So Sunday, you got some mixed doubles. 501, top 4, Allison Kuhn, Ryan Vanderweet, Brenda Rausch, Morgan Dotson, Leonard Gates and Deb Ivey, second place, Melissa Pryor and Mark Fair, mixed doubles 501.
Melissa Pryor, a lot of Florida people.
Okay, I believe you. Ladies doubles 501, top 4, Marilyn Pop, Sandy Hudson, Beth Adams, Tiffany Stone, Brenda Rausch, Renee Ripple, second place, and Kristen McCandless and Stacy Pace.
Kirsten.
Oh, Kirsten. Jesus, how did I screw that one up?
I don't know.
God. And Stacy Pace having a good tournament. Ladies doubles 501.
Well, speaking of Danny Pace.
Men's singles 501, top 4, Mark Fair, Chris Linkus. Second place, Robbie Phillips, Danny Pace. Men's singles 501 champ.
Told you he was good.
Yeah, apparently. Ladies singles 501, Brenda Rausch, Jamie Campbell, top 4, Sandy Hudson, second place, Stacy Pace, first place. And top 4 men's doubles 501, Jerry Hilborn, Pat Hewitt, Jason Bond, Bobby Sluter.
Bobby Sluter. The only guy who had longer hair than me. I wonder if he still got it.
Second place goes to Christopher and Roundtree.
Mike Roundtree. He's Texas.
Okay. And Stowe and Soldier Gates win.
Stowe Bunce.
Stowe Bunce, okay.
Okay.
Soldier Gates, men's 501 doubles. And that would do it.
Okay, there's your Ghost on the Coast for this year.
Stacy Pace had quite the tourney.
Yeah, I guess if they had an MVP, it would have been her, I'm thinking. She won like 3 events. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Tough field. A lot of good players. Okay, let's wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We will dart talk to everyone next week. We'll be back at 8:30. We're just a little behind this week. So 8:30 Central is the usual time. Yeah, bad weather here. Everybody be safe, and we'll dart talk to you next week. Everybody take care.